Knicks were up 11-10, and basically after that, it was lights out.
It was a flurry of three-point shots that you knew was coming from the Milwaukee Bucks. That's what they do, and it's what they've been doing to the Knicks so far in the first three meetings of the season. And at that point, you're chasing the scoreboard. Dangerous place to be against the Bucks team that has all the size on you and then obviously can knock down the three. And they have a lot of guys that do that in this game. So the three-point shooting, that's minus 21 points between the Knicks and the Bucks. So already down 21 at the three-point line. You also are minus 26 bench scoring. You mentioned Bobby Portis. He had a heck of a game off the bench, and that's a big part of it too because the Knicks didn't have an answer. Emmanuel Quickley did not have a good game off the bench. And then the rebounding, which is something that the Knicks always bring to the table. Minus 13 on the boards, worst of the season. Normally they win that rebounding battle. Against a really big Bucks team, they lost it. Three factors in why they lost this game the way they did.
Only the seventh time now in 28 games that the Knicks have been out-rebounded by the opposition. You touched on the threes. Remember in Milwaukee on December the 5th, the Bucks went 23 of 38 from downtown. This afternoon, 16 of 32, while the Knicks only made 9 threes. So that's a differential, Allen, of 21 points.
It's really, when you watch the game live, you say to yourself, how do they never miss? And it's all inside out that you see here. Now, some of these are contested, and eventually you'll see some completely uncontested. Malik Beasley had it going early. 11 points in the first quarter really set the tone. And then Bobby Portis came in. He hit 3 threes off the bench as well. And it just felt like everybody that took a three in this game for the Bucks hit threes. And that's just what they do. So the Knicks want to pack it in defensively, take the paint away, and then you're going to beat them with those threes. I mean, you can't leave Middleton open. We know that for sure. But that's what's going against your defense. And then if you start to close out and try to take away the three, well, then that's when you fall right into the fact that Giannis now can work in the paint. So you have to pick your poison against this team. They're bigger than you, and they make a lot of threes. This is a tough matchup for the Knicks, and we've learned that so far in the first 3 meetings.
All right, Alan. Monica McNutt helped call the game on ESPN Radio and 98.7 FM. She now joins us courtside. Monica, good to see that you're still in the bah humbug. No, still got the Christmas spirit. Keep that Christmas spirit going, all right?
Yes, we have to. We need it, especially after this performance.
Monica, when you looked at, though, that first quarter, it just felt like the minute, like the Knicks were in it, and then the three ball became the can you keep up with us? And the Bucks almost felt like you can't, because the amount of threes that they hit, and at the frequency they hit it and the efficiency they hit it, it just felt like from that point it was all uphill, wasn't it?
I would agree, and I think you look at the Bucks and you think this is textbook pressure on the rim that's going to create opportunities to spray out and hit threes. Malik Beasley knocking down 3 threes in the first half, 2 from one corner and 1 from the other corner is literally like the definition of penetrate and kick. And so as much as the threes were a thing, and it was eerily reminiscent to that performance in the semifinals round of the quarterfinal rounds of the in-season tournament, the rebounding is what really has me scratching my head. And I want to give grace because I understand the absence of Mitchell Robinson, and beyond that, Jericho Sims. They are real, and you are certainly going to feel them. But this is the largest deficit in terms of a rebound margin that the Knicks have had all season. It was previously 9. Tonight, they finished minus 12 in that category.
And you know what? In a couple of days, the Knicks see this team again on Christmas Day, almost the exact same start time, this time at noon, a half hour earlier, but in the same building. So you got a day to kind of figure it out. What adjustments can they possibly make, the Knicks can, so they can get a win against this team?
Well, speaking of adjustments, hon, I'm going to go ahead and make one real quick for the holidays so we can keep the cheer going. And now the basketball adjustments is obviously you're going to have to be able to shoot the basketball better. If the size is going to continue to be an issue, which it likely will be, you have to be able to hit shots. There were a few opportunities over the course of the game where it wasn't an elaborate action in the half-court set. It was one guy attacking, another guy cutting. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle were able to make that connection. Isaiah Hartenstein made it one time. They have to create some more movement because the isolation basketball in the half-court set, once the bigger Milwaukee Bucks set up their half-court defense, it is just too much of a tall task in terms of looking to score. So the biggest adjustment to me, you're going to have to make shots from behind the three-point line, and you're going to have to find some of those easier baskets in transition.
So that's Mr. and Mrs. Claus, I believe, on the top of her head.
They're abominable snow people. Hold on.
Is that snow people? Oh, those are snow people.
Look like, there you go.
I mean, it looked from a distance. I thought it maybe Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I thought, well, maybe you can get one of Bill and I on the top next time.
Oh, wow. This can be Pito and this can be Han. Sure, why not?
By the way, Monica, shout out to the great crew behind you getting the MSG ready for the Rangers tonight. They're hosting Buffalo. Pre-game here at 7, the game at 7:30. They're already getting things rolling behind you.
With that said, Peter, let's wrap this up. Come on.
No, we're not done with you yet, Monica. No. Merry Christmas. All right. Great to have you on as always.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
All right. One positive here for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson. 45 points he had against the Bucks in the first meeting, and he had 36 today. I mentioned, though, not a single point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 0 for 4. Now, again, if you're going to beat this team, and let's look at this now. Last week we saw a red-hot Clippers team. The Knicks went up against them. It was kind of the same deal. You know, you're just running into a heater right now. The Bucks are on one as well. So if you're going to beat them, you got to have somebody that's got it cooking. And Jalen Brunson got it cooking, especially in the first half when he had 21 points of the 36 in that first half. He had a strong third quarter, but really he was the one guy. Eventually, Julius Randle did get going at the free throw line especially. But look at Brunson. I mean, this is a very big team. And as we know, there are some people critical of Brunson's size, thinking that, you can't have a lead guy who isn't that big. But he was the lead guy once again tonight. He's been the lead guy all season long. And even against a big, long defensive team like the Bucks, Jalen Brunson can still get to his spots, figure out a way. That's at the buzzer at halftime. A huge shot that cut a deficit to 8 points. So Jalen Brunson doing all he could offensively in this game to keep up the pace with a great offensive team in the Milwaukee Bucks. He is playing, and I'll keep saying it till it happens, at an all-star level. And Knicks fans, vote if you can, as much as you can, to try to get him to Indianapolis. It is well-deserved, and everybody around the league that is watching feels the same way.
Alan, do you think performances like this against one of the top teams in the East helps Jalen's
100%.
all-star candidacy?
He outplayed Damian Lillard in this game. Lillard did not have a very good game. He still finished with 19 points and 7 assists. And let's also point out, Brunson had 36 points. He had 7 assists also in this game, led the team. So he was also dishing while he was also swishing. Shout out to Clyde. But when you do that one-on-one against a guy like Lillard and you outplay him, that stuff has to stand out. In the East, there's a lot of really good guards. Trae Young's been on a really good run lately as well. His numbers have been prolific. Now, his team's not winning. How much of that is accounted? But look at Tyrese Maxey and how they're playing in Philadelphia. He and Joel Embiid are an unstoppable duo, and they're in the top 4 in the East. So there's different names that you have to watch and see, where does Jalen Brunson measure up? So when you have games like this head-to-head, especially with top teams, and he's still doing it, yeah, that stuff has to stand out. It's all good on the resume.
Now, he had 50 against Phoenix in a game that we had and was also a national game. Big Christmas Day game for Jalen on national TV to put it together again in front of a national audience.
And think about it. He has this big of a game in 3 quarters, has 36 points against the Bucks, and they're going to see him obviously 2 days later. You think they're going to make some adjustments to try to get his shots, get him off his spots, trap him more, get the ball out of his hands? Absolutely. And that's what you want to watch for now in the very next game is Adrian Griffin, who's already conceded. He's already talked about how tough. There's a great clip out there of him talking to Rick Brunson after the last game they played. And he said, man, he's tough. Like, gave him all kinds of props. But you know that they'll look at this film today and they'll see those first 3 quarters. He got anywhere he wanted. I imagine they'll make some type of adjustment in the Christmas Day game to try to take that away, which means someone else has to step up. Julius Randle did. Julius Randle still put up his normal numbers. R.J. Barrett struggled with his shooting. Christmas Day, R.J. Barrett can't have another shooting game like this.
Barrett today, 5 of 17, while Randle went for 26 points and 8 rebounds.